Well, Faubus is an incredibly complex character. Well, the thing that most people know about Faubus, obviously, is Little Rock Central. And because of that, we tend to gloss over the subtleties in Faubus's character and in his background. But Faubus grows up in a family with a father who is a card-carrying socialist, and Faubus even briefly attends Commonwealth College, the socialist school in southwest Arkansas. And then, of course, Faubus becomes known for the rest of American history as a segregationist governor who becomes one of the true bad guys of the civil rights movement. Faubus ends up running Dogpatch USA theme park, which was just an incredible stroke of luck, I think, for anybody who was in the editorial cartoon business in the late 1960s. So it's this strange sort of interplay of different kinds of Southern images that happens in the late 50s and into the 60s that with Faubus right there at the center of it. But Clinton is a different story, and from a different era. Clinton is obviously, in many ways, the antithesis of Faubus, a very well-educated person from a somewhat humble background, though not as humble as the campaign in '92 probably tried to make it seem. But certainly someone who was an Ivy League law graduate, Rhodes Scholar, as well-educated as pretty much any president we've ever had, and maybe as skillful in many ways as any president we've ever had. What happens there is in 91, when he announces that he's going to run for president, and in 92, there's this whole period of time in which normally broad-minded, fair-minded people and intellectuals in America struggle with this dichotomy between this very intelligent, articulate Arkansas governor who emerges to run for president, and these generations of Arkansas images that people pretty much anywhere in America have absorbed by the early 1990s. And for me, when I was going back and rereading some of this stuff that I hadn't thought about since the early 90s, it was a reminder that that old Arkansas image was still, at least in the back of people's minds in the early 90s. And it's something that's not likely to go away anytime soon.
And I'd like to thank Brooks Blevins for taking the time out to talk with me. He was very, very interesting to talk to. And actually, we talked for a little over an hour, and an extended version of that interview will be up on our blog at oshmcollections.com.
As we said before, the exhibit opened in early April, and it will run through early March of 2012. It's free admission. So
Yes, it is absolutely 100% free, but the exhibit video for this exhibit is fantastic. And so are many of the objects, and many of the objects that you see in this podcast are also available on display.
We want to thank you so much for watching, and hope you'll join us on our next podcast.
Yes, thank you guys very much. We'd like to thank Brooks Blevins for participating in this project, for curating this exhibit, and for writing such a wonderful book. The Old State House Museum is a museum of the Department of Arkansas Heritage, and this podcast has been funded by the Natural and Cultural Resources Council.